the night, John. You know, every once in a while there is a news story that seems to shift the sentiment in Washington. And I think that this story today about the grand jury being impaneled, look, we don't know what charges might come. And we won't know that probably for some time. But it feels like the American people are finally moving in the direction of getting answers.
I think that's right. I mean, I think listen, the question was, would Pam Bondi follow the normal process? And so the first process is let the FBI open up the investigation. They did that. That's the grand conspiracy case. Then she applied the strike force concept, which is get your best stars and put them on one team, put them at this. That is something they use typically for a conspiracy case involving the mob or drug cartels. Now it's going to be used with the Obama administration and those who succeeded it. And then the next question is, are you going to empower that entity, the strike force, to go get the evidence, compel the turning over of evidence? And today we learned the answer is yes, grand jury. Now, here's what I think is going to be the next few things to be watching. People said, well, why was it today? Well, why today? Well, over the weekend, a couple of major U.S. attorneys got approved. Janine Pirro in Washington, D.C., and then the Miami U.S. attorney, who is, by all accounts, an outstanding litigator and prosecutor candidate. He got approved, and as we've been saying, one of the notions in the FBI case is to take this case in Florida, start with Jack Smith, the most current event, and work its way backwards. The fact that those two got approved this weekend and she did this today maybe tells you something. I think you should look for the following moves. And again, we're still a couple weeks off from this, but I think the most likely place will be the grand jury will be impaneled in Florida, maybe a place like Fort Pierce, where Judge Cannon used to reside or operated out of. And to look at the primary crime, something that stretches from 24 back to 16, as the deprivation of civil rights. That you deprive people like Mike Flynn, George Papadopoulos, President Trump, Carter Page, their civil liberties by the way you conducted government business without a basis to intrude on their freedoms, their speech and other things. And then with that, you can take that to the censorship era. You can take that to the Ukraine era. You can take that all the way to the raid at Mar-a-Lago and whatever happened in the aftermath of that. I would be looking for a grand jury to be operating in Florida. And I think maybe the Senate finally burping up a couple of these nominations, getting them done. One of those being Miami, the other being Washington, D.C. Judge Janine would be an outstanding prosecutor as well. The jury pool's a lot tougher here for this sort of a case. So I think Florida is the place that I'm going to be watching closely to see if the first subpoenas come. That's what's next, right? Grand jury, and what do grand juries issue? They issue subpoenas. Yeah.
And, you know, here in D.C., that would be, I guess, under Judge Boasberg's.
It's another reason Judge Boasberg has really asserted himself in front of the Trump administration, and he's the chief judge here in the district. So.
And the thing with Florida, because liberals are going to say, oh, if it's impaneled in Florida, then, you know, it's definitely going to go the direction of President Trump and against these who have been possible conspirators. But Florida is a fair venue. D.C. is not a fair venue. D.C., you know which way it's going to go. They're not going to...
90-10. And, you know, Florida's 55-45. And in some places, it's the other way around. You know, Miami did go for President Trump this time, but traditionally it hasn't. And Miami would be the chief district for a trial, potentially. So it's just a more evenly split populace as opposed to a 90-10 populace in D.C., which you know, we saw how that worked for John Durham.
All right.